All right, in his reply to Geyman, Glenn Whitman says that we do agree on some things, but we differ on the source of the problems and their solution. So first, what do they agree on? The current United States system has unnecessarily high costs, it's afflicted with perverse incentives that often lead to wasteful care, and it suffers from a serious lack of proper cost containment. Okay, so what do they disagree about? One thing is that given that the United States system really is a mixed system, it is a non sequitur or a non-starter to blame every problem on markets. And he says, my chapter discusses the economic reasons to blame the government instead. Now, the hostility to markets that Whitman sees in Geyman's essay comes from a couple different sources, but one of the things that he seeks to do in correcting this hostility is to point out how various examples from other industries, not including healthcare, illustrate a general principle, which is that in a competitive market, profits provide firms with an incentive to perform better. And he doesn't see why this should not apply to healthcare as well. He says, in response to the glowing recommendation of Medicare given by Geyman, that one of the writers against Medicare and other things says this: Medicare keeps its measured administrative cost ratio relatively low by avoiding important administrative activities, which shrinks the numerator, and tolerating vast amounts of wasteful and fraudulent claims, which inflates the denominator. And that's a vice, but advocates of a new government program praise it as a virtue. Now, one of the things that comes up in the article is the World Health Organization and its way of ranking the United States healthcare system compared to other places that have more like a single-payer system. But the complaint brought by Whitman says the World Health Organization's ranking system is based on 5 factors, and 3 of them are what are called disparity measures. Now, disparity measures, complains Whitman, measure relative quality. Do the rich get better care than the poor? But Whitman says what we should care about is not relative quality, but absolute quality. Are the poor getting good care? And disparity measures are the wrong way to answer that question. Now, when he complains about rose-colored single-payer glasses in the essay by Geyman, he says the realistic picture of single-payer structure is not so pretty, and one of the things that's not so pretty about it is that the assumption of greater fairness and greater equality under single-payer systems is questionable for different reasons empirically. Now, he points out that according to Geyman, there would be no cost sharing with patients in his system, in his preferred system. Yet cost sharing is the only means of controlling costs that still permits individual choice. And so he rehearses why it's kind of unfair to oppose HMOs in one breath and then be in favor of single-payer systems in the other breath. Finally, he says, I'll conclude by citing one more thing upon which Geyman and I do agree. Geyman repeats the adage, he who pays the piper calls the tune. And the response by Whitman is exactly. So the relevant question is, whom do you want calling the tune in personal health care decisions, patients or the government?